And
Sure.
we're talking about a story that I think has been hitting the airwaves all the time, but I don't know how much more has to be done before anybody take notice of what is going on. And the pandemic that I'm talking about now is not COVID-19; it's GBV, gender-based violence. Many women are facing that particular issue, but not enough is being done about it. And a person that's going to be speaking to me about the situation is Leilani Kuter. She's a GBV activist, and she walks 29 hours to provide women with free self defense classes. And this September, she's also going to be doing that. This is her third annual walk. And this is to highlight sexual assault survivors in South Africa, which is, I think, a very pertinent topic. So, a very warm welcome to you. And thank you so much for joining me on the show this morning.
No, it's only a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
I think it's a very brave one, I must say. I must actually commend you for being able to come on the show and make us understand the importance and pertinence of us having to start being activists like yourself as far as this particular topic is concerned. So before we start, Leilani, we know you're from Roodepoort. You began a 27-day journey, but it had a very, very serious, should we say, connotation behind it. So let's talk about your personal experience before we go any further.
Yeah, so unfortunately, at the age of 18, I was brutally raped and left for dead on the 16th of September, 1992. It was a day that changed my life. I didn't really talk about it for about 10 years. Only a few people knew that something happened to me because I couldn't really say the word rape, especially in Afrikaans. It was just not a word I could say. And then, and then 27 years, on the 4th of April, 2019, I thought it is time, but with no plan in my mind, I just went back to the youth hostel where it happened to me. And I had to go and face my demon. And I literally went and stood in front of the door of the room where it happened to me. And I made my peace, and when I left, I cried a lot. But then I decided, you know what? I was supposed to be dead. I'm alive. I'm here. There must be a reason. There must be some kind of purpose for me, So I'm one of the very blessed people to know my purpose and to have the opportunity to live it out and to make a difference. So when I left there, I decided I'm going to be an activist for South Africa. Like I said, no idea what's waiting for me. I'm just going to change my life so much for the better. When I look back at it now, it was one of the best decisions of my life. And that is why 2019, because it was 27 years ago, I decided then to walk 27 kilometers for 27 days consecutively. So I did it. It was very difficult, 729 kilometers. It's far, but it was fantastic because the healing will never stop until today. 2020, I walked 28 kilometers per day for 16 days because it happened 28 years ago on the 16th. So this is why this year, after I started to do something different, I do get bored easily. And to be totally honest, I'm not that fit because of COVID and this weather and laziness and whatever. I want to do something different because I always want to do something that it's not for everyone. I want to be. I want to do something that I don't want to use the word really impress, but inspires people. Okay, to say if you can do it, I can do it. And I'm not saying everybody must start going crazy and walk 29 hours, but do something. You deserve a happy life. Don't be like me and wait 27 years to do something. Because you're wasting beautiful time in your own life. Because we only have this one life. It depends on your religion, I guess. Okay. But this is the life you're living in right now. Try to make it the best one.
I agree with you. And as you say, I mean, we have only one life. It's been that long a time, but I'm sure it was a very difficult period through your life. And at that point in time, what was your turning point to tell yourself that, I've done this for so long, I've been in this situation and not facing it and not trying to overcome it in some way? I mean, it of course never leaves you, but it's how you can cope and manage with it. I think that matters.
I think the turning point for me was um, that moment when I left the youth hostel. And it was like a penny dropped. And I thought to myself, but I am alive and I'm quite
Mm,
healthy. I'm happy. So what am I doing about it?
mm,
I'm quite a
mm,
verbal person. I mean, I got this ability to talk to people. I'm a motivator of nature. What am I doing about it? Why am I not making a difference? Why am I not helping other people? So
mm,
that
mm,
was the moment it dropped for me when I realized. And, this is not for everyone. Um,
mm,
I get angry, to be honest with you, if I read people starting to finally to talk about it, especially in the media, and they're out there, they say, what had happened to me this many years ago, blah, blah, blah. And the public, especially women, are attacking these people to say, but why only now? Are you looking for attention? Is it about money? What is the story? And I get really furious because you know what? You've
mm.
never been in that situation. Secondly,
Exactly.
that person's time to shine. They are ready to talk.
Mm,
So
mm,
allow them. Because it's people like you guys who are the bullies who other people think, what, this is why I'm not going to tell my story. I'm rather going to keep quiet. I'm not going to say who the perpetrator is because it's maybe in my family or somebody at the work or a colleague or my brother. Do you know what I mean? Like, stop with a bully because you're making these people scared to talk about this. And the work I'm
mm.
trying to do is to encourage people to talk. We have
Yes,
to
of
talk
course.
about
And I agree with you. You're giving them the strength to be able to stand up for themselves and say that what has happened to me is not acceptable. And this is not
it.
acceptable in society as well. So it's time that we can take a stand as people that have gone through this and make others understand through creating the awareness from what you're doing. And I see you wearing yellow today. And as I recall reading your story, this is what your perpetrator was wearing that day. So by wearing the yellow, it's not a bad thing. It's making people understand that, and you're making that perpetrator as well understand that I'm wearing this yellow to remind you that what you've done to me is not something acceptable. It's not something that I'm going to take standing down, but I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to start standing up for my rights, and I'm going to stop standing out for the value that I have in me. And I think that's what it's about.
It's exactly about that. And if the perpetrator ever sees me out there, because I'm sure, I mean, in some weird way, I hope he has seen me in this 3 years, okay? And hopefully the penny drops with him as well. You know what? I tried to take a spirit, I tried to kill her, I tried to damage her for life, but you
Mm,
didn't. You know what? You didn't. And my biggest wish with everything I do, yes, I want to help other people, women, men, children who's been through this sadness, okay? But my
mm,
big, big, big goal on the end of the day, if I can also change a perpetrator's life, start thinking about your actions. Do you really want
mm,
to be that person? Is this what you're doing the right thing? How would you like it if I do that to you? Start
yeah.
asking your question. So if you're listening and you are a perpetrator, think about your actions. Is this really the man or woman or person you want to be remembered as?
I so agree with you there. And I mean, it's about making them understand that what they're doing is not acceptable, firstly, and how wrong it really is, because you're literally infringing on somebody else's respect levels. You're surpassing that respect line, and it's about changing the way perpetrators think. And I think through awareness programs like what you're doing through Yellow for Survivors NPC, it's about bringing to attention that perpetrators need to understand that what they are doing is wrong. And as I spoke to a guest earlier, there's always these norms that are being created, and sometimes, and I just feel this way, and I think this is my personal opinion. These
Mm.
perpetrators always think that what they're doing is okay, when in actual fact it isn't.
It's not okay. It will never be okay. You know what? I also want to ask somebody because we're dealing with a case now. I'm walking 44 kilometers on Saturday for a lady called Jessica Lawrence. Okay, she was
Mm,
raped by a dad, or she was abused. Anyway. The point I'm trying to make is this dad's excuse is, yeah, but he got all these voices to say it's the right thing, show love, like things like that. And I just think, why? Why did you not went for help? Why did
mm,
you not reaching out to say, listen, this is what I'm thinking cannot be normal. It
of
can't
course
be
not.
normal. Let me go and see somebody. But now you're destroying somebody else. That girl is living with that trauma for the rest of her life.
And
Yes, you
from
know what?
somebody that is closest to her, and I think that's what makes it a whole lot worse. It's the person
Closest to
that
her.
she trusted, respected, looked up to, and expected to, of course, keep her safe, and that is not the case in that instance.
Exactly that. Like I say, I really, really want to help women, children, and men out there who's been through rape, who's been through gender-based violence, and tell them, you know what, you're not alone. Please reach out for help and don't walk with this pain by yourself. But really, if you are a perpetrator, stop this nonsense. You are hurting people because you know what a perpetrator doesn't realize? It's
Mm,
the after effect. I'm
mm,
47 today.
mm.
Still, I get triggered by certain things. Still, things upset me. I'm just human on the end of the day.
Of
Yes, I'm out
course.
there, I'm an activist, I walk and I talk and I'm happy. But I am still human. I get days where it still affects me. So for
Mm,
the rest of my life, you've got some kind of control. And this is also why I'm wearing the yellow, to tell this person, you don't have control over me. I've got
mm,
control over my life. In the
mm.
beginning of the year, I do these dedication walks. I walk for other survivors. Okay,
Mhm.
my 2021 started to walk for two ladies who's been murdered and raped by their partners. So they're not here
Whoa.
anymore. This is very
Sure.
sad. But the families, they love it. It's nice for them. It shows them they're not alone. Nobody has forgotten about the children. But these people are gone,
Mm,
gone.
mm.
They're mothers. And
Leilani, how
you,
important do you think it is for us, for yourselves and organizations like yourselves? And I mean, as we know, and I said this on other shows, the president, here's something coming in from Rabia Abrams. She says, Amin, shine like a survivor, continue, Leilani, inspire, motivate, and change hearts. And of course, with one big kiss. I think you've created this vibe where people understand that they can stand up for themselves, firstly. But as I was saying, I think from a government level point of view, it's about organizations like yourself that need to tap into them to say, let's start creating awareness programs where we then actually have it not for the just the survivors and the victims, but as you were saying, changing the mindsets of the perpetrators through life coaching and things like that. And I think this is where we're going to have a better society, is by creating that awareness and that education to say that if you're having a problem from a mind point of view and the manner in which you're thinking and the behavioral patterns that you have is not the norm of life, and that is how we need to change it.
exactly that. I said it to a journalist the other day. Okay, I
Mm,
don't wish this upon my worst enemy, but it
mm,
feels to me government is going to wake up when it's really starting to hit home. Do you want this to happen to your child first, so you can realize the impact it's got? Is that what
mm,
must happen here? Because I
mm,
don't wish it. I'm just asking you, what must happen before you will wake up, okay, to understand the importance of this? Stop
mm,
corruption, put money in the correct places. We've got a 34% unemployment rate in this country, okay? Start
mm,
employing people, put them in places to help the police so the backlog will get better. Put better systems in place so
mm,
that we've got
mm,
better software so the cases gets handled better. There is actually funds because you know what? We always say there's no funding. I mean, you can't tell me there's no funds because if you read in the news, they it's stolen. So if there wasn't
mm,
funds, it was been stolen. Okay, stop.
mm,
That's where it must start. Better
mm,
systems, so people are comfortable so they trust the system to go report. And I also am very very serious about this and passionate about this. There must be consequences for the
mm.
perpetrator. I don't care what
Most
it is,
definitely.
but the moment the president puts consequences in place for a perpetrator, let me tell you one thing today, and I will mark my words on the 9th of September 2021.
Mm,
I don't know if it's going to happen in my generation. I hope so. But then this will stop or it will happen. Dis sal baie minder gebeur. Okay?
mm,
That's the point I'm trying to make. It will
mm,
really, because the moment the perpetrator starting to think, you know what I'm going to do now is going to put me in jail
mm,
forever, or maybe my arm's going to get cut off. I'm going to get life, I'm going to be a death penalty, whatever it is. My name is going to be on street ball ads. Everybody's going to know I'm a perpetrator. There must be consequences. I'm telling you, just that small act in this country will make a huge difference. A huge
Most
difference.
definitely. Yes, but I also think it's about taking organizations like yourselves and creating, should you say, a unified support structure where I think then maybe you're going to be taken more seriously. What is happening is I've spoken to other organizations doing GBV from different townships and things like that. And the one deduction that I've come to is that you've been looked at that individual basis, as you say, as a, you just that particular organization. So I think what's going to really matter, and where government, they've spoken so many times about GBV and the amount of funds that they're going to give towards it, is if you create a unified version of yourselves and then of course take that mandate forward. Maybe that's a way to actually get people thinking about the type of situations people are facing at this moment in time. And then, as you were saying, in that mandate, also create that particular environment where these perpetrators are then educated before they're integrated into the system, to make them understand that what they're doing is really not acceptable.
Yes, 100%. And just to answer your previous question again properly, and your second question as well now, okay? There are many, South Africans are lovely people. I love South Africans. There are so many non-profit companies out there or organizations who wants to help people. All we all need, and I'm talking for all of us, who really try to make a difference in helping others. We need funds. So what we can tell the government, if you don't have the resources, fund us. All of us, help us. Obviously, come and check us out, okay? Because you know what? Make sure about everything is correctly in place. So there's no corruption in non-profit companies. But come and check us out. Come and see the work we do. But we need your support. We need your support. We need your funds. I mean, now, with my 29-hour walk, I raise funds through Back a Buddy or direct donations for the public or companies to help us. Why is the government not helping us? We need funds, because without funding, I can't do anything. I'm an entrepreneur. Sorry about my dogs.
That's all right.
Anyway, we can't do anything without funding, because at Yellow for Survivors, our goal is to give free self-defense classes to people in disadvantaged areas, or just to South Africans, to say, listen, we've got you covered. You don't have to spend money on this. Because we've got you covered. Obviously, there's things that I just want to close the door quickly.
Well, there we go. This is what we're talking about, is the pertinent aspect of having to create that environment where people understand the rights and the wrongs. But also, as Leilani is saying, is to create a unified environment where we move people forward through education. And with the help of the support of the government, which I think is very important. Leilani, we seem to be running out of time. What do you think is the most important thing that people need to know about GBV and how we can move ourselves forward? Let's look at this option going forward.
They need to know that to do self-defense classes, it's only to empower yourself. We're not saying we can get you out of rape. We're not making you superhuman. All we're saying is that we're going to give you skills to know when you have to maybe get out of the situation. That's all we're saying. Is empower yourself, because I really feel if anybody from the government is listening to me, please consider bringing self-defense into primary schools. Please consider this.
I agree. Definitely, without a doubt.
Yes. And I really would like to use this opportunity to please, if people want to get involved, we need your donations. Please go to Back a Buddy or to yellowforsurvivors.co.za. When you click on donate, all the options is there. Your contribution can make a huge difference.
And that's what it's about. Thank you so much for joining us and making us understand the pertinence of the type of situations that we're facing as far as this is concerned. I think it's very important that we understand that particular aspect of it. So thank you for joining us. And I'm hoping that we can move forward as far as the subject is concerned. Thank you,
Thank you.
Leilani. Take care and all the best going forward.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Leilani Kuter talking to us about, she's been a rape survivor, and to come on air has been such a brave thing for her to do, to be able to talk about her experience, but to also make others understand that you can stand up for yourself and that there are support structures out there. I think that that's what's important. And I want to say that we need to, of course, start creating those support structures amongst ourselves. And I think we've run out of time. I wanted to actually read something, but it is going to take quite some time. So the only thing I have to left to say for today is that the topics that we've touched on is very pertinent and important. And I think each one of us needs to play a part. Of it, firstly, and secondly, also to determine the values that we have within ourselves to be able to move ourselves forward. And I think that's what it's about. So, thank you for joining us on another, should we say, phenomenal show of empowerment, education, self sustainability, and fulfillment. For myself and the team, we thank you so much. Do join us next week for a bumper edition of the Nafisa Dango Show. For myself and the team, a very good weekend for you coming ahead. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.